Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of the DaVinci Resolve Essential Tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 7 and here we'll be learning about the video transitions available in the DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so we'll be learning from where you can basically put some video transitions. Okay, I'll be showing you guys about that in detail here in this particular chapter. So let's not waste time and let's get started with video transition in DaVinci Resolve. So here, as you can see back at the same workspace, okay, so we'll be learning about the transitions over here, okay. So transition is basically if I just move around my playhead over here, okay. So let me just take my playhead from here and just move it up, okay. So here, as you guys can see now, if I play and here between you guys can see a cut, okay. So now if I play here, you guys can see the transition between both of this clip is not perfect, okay, or it doesn't give a nice effect. It's just a direct cut, okay. So the direct cut is also a transition, but it is called a cut transition, okay. So transiting from one video to the another is known as the transition, okay. So there basically we can actually put a lot of transitions which are already available in our DaVinci Resolve application, okay. So let's look onto that, okay, how you can actually put on some transition over here. So first off, if you want to put any transition, okay, so if I just right click over here, okay, so here as you guys can see, I can actually put on some of the default transition, okay. So here you guys can see I do have the cross dissolve transition as my default transition over here, okay. So here you guys can see it is a 48 frame, 24 frames, 12 frames and the 6 frame transition. Okay, so you guys can actually put on some transitions from here as well. Okay, otherwise if you directly come here, okay, in this cut option, okay, so from here also if you want to put on some transition, okay, so if you come here, right click, or if you want to directly put on any transition, so from here you guys will be able to put on some dissolve transition over here, okay. As you guys can see, this is the default transition for me, okay, which is the cross dissolve, okay. I will be able to change that here as well. But let's look into in my edit panel, and from my edit panel, if I want to look around for the transitions, first off I need to go to the effects option, okay. So once I go to the effects option over here on my left hand side, you guys can see I do have a lot of transition available over here which I can actually use, okay. And from here, if you want to see the preview, you guys will be able to see the preview from here as well. Okay, so if I just click here, okay, so here you guys can see I do have this one, okay. So now if I just choose this frame, okay, if I just come here, you guys can see on my preview panel how it will actually look. So the same way if I come here to the blur dissolve, it will kind of look like this, okay. So this one is the additive dissolve. Okay, so there are many options which you guys can actually use, okay. So this one is the crossfade, okay. Different types are there, and this one is a smooth cut, as you guys can see how it is transitioning on my preview panel, okay. So again, the single view over here, okay. So here you guys can basically see. So there are many options, okay. So here you guys can see this is how it will actually change. If you want it to change in a diamond shape, you guys can actually see it will just change kind of like this, okay. And here burn door push, okay. So here it will just change with a push. If you want it to change it in a slide, you can see here, okay. So a lot of option right around here, okay. So this is the title option which I don't need right now, okay. We'll be learning about the titles later into our class, So I will just directly go to the video transitions, and under this you guys can see wipe, motion, iris, dissolve, okay, shape, fusion transitions, okay. I can use all of those fusion transitions from here as well. Okay, so you guys can actually get a preview of how it actually looks. And here, if you want to put those, so how you can actually put is, suppose I want to use this cross iris. So I just need to click here, hold and drag my mouse and just keep it here in between both the clips. Okay. So as you guys can see, now I do have this one. Okay. And if you just right click on that particular transition, okay. So if you want to put it here or start, okay, it will come here in the start, or here if you come again, if you put it in the center, you guys will be able to put that thing here in the center. Okay, so if you want to convert it to your default thing, okay, which is the fusion cross dissolve, you guys can do that. Okay, and you can also create transitional preset. Okay, and if you want to change the transition duration, you guys will be able to do that. If you want to delete it, you guys can delete it from here as well. Okay, so this is about the transition over here, but mostly what everyone does, okay, or if you want to work closely with your transition, in that case also you need to come here into your inspector panel. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am here in my inspector panel. So from here, as you guys can see, now I do have the transition option right over here. Okay, so from here what I can do is, first off, I can change what type of transition do I need. Okay, and after that I can also choose for what duration do I need to do that. Okay, so if I just increase it, it will increase here on my timeline as well. If you guys notice, once I'm increasing the size, my transition duration is also increasing. If I just decrease it, it will decrease from here as well. Okay, so now this is 17 frames. Okay, and here, as you guys can see, okay, if I want to set this particular transition as my default transition, or if I want to set this as a default duration, okay, which is 0.7 seconds, I will be able to do that from here as well. Okay, and as you guys can see here, everything I do have, okay, all the video transitions, but in my cross dissolve, I do have this one in red color. Okay, so here, if you want to add this to your favorites, you can add it. Okay, and if I come here, okay, and if I right click, okay, if I want to set it as the standard transition, or if I want to set this particular thing as my default, I can actually come and click here, and now this smooth cut is my default transition. Okay, so if I just come here in this cut option right now, okay, I can actually put that thing over here. Okay, so again I will come to this edit option, and let's try to understand this one. Okay, so alignment is basically if I want to put this transition at the end of my first video. So for that, I can click here. Here you guys can see the transition will basically start from here. Or if I want to put it in center of both of this clip, I can come here and select this one. If I want to start it from the second clip, the first frame, I can just click here. And here you guys are able to see that I will be able to do this thing quite over here. Okay, and now if I just click here on the center, if I want to offset to the center, here you guys can see I can actually maintain the x-axis, and also I can change the y-axis from here. Okay, so you guys will be able to change the x-axis and the y-axis from here. Okay, if you want to add any border to your transition, you guys will be able to add some border to the transition. If you want to use some feather, you guys will be able to use the feather here as well. Okay, and now, okay, let me just play this thing out and see how it actually looks. So here you guys can see there was a fast transition, and in the same way, if I want to select this one, and now I just want to increase the size, you guys will be see a slower transition comparing to the last one. Okay, so you guys can see there is a slower transition between the videos, and here as you guys can see, once it fades in, okay, the transition fades in, there is a white color. Okay, so here I can basically change the color. Okay, if I take blue, if I click on OK over here, now if I come, and now here you guys can see blue color discoloration over here. Okay, for the transition. Okay, which is not quite visible. But here, if you just look closely, you guys will be able to see a bluish color. Okay, so that's the use of this color over here. And if you want it to be reversed, okay, so here you guys will be able to see that your transition is working in a reverse. Okay, so here you guys can see now this thing is reversed. Okay, and it also depends that how you want your transition to appear on your page. Okay, so if you want to ease this thing in and out, you guys can also do that. So let me come back here again. Okay, I have selected this. It will ease in and out. Okay, so this is the transition. And from here, you can actually check the transition curve. Okay, if you want to check the transition curve over here. And once you change the curve over here, you guys will be able to see some changes in this particular place as well. Okay, as you guys can see, okay, the changes over here. Okay, if I just kind of put it like this. Okay, and now let me just play it for you all. Okay, so here you guys can see. So the transition curve, it just gives like it hangs there for some time. Okay, if I decrease the size, it will do the same. So I will just keep it at 1 over here. Okay, and yeah, everything is looks to go. And now here you guys can actually put on some of these things over here. Okay, so now as I have applied a keyframe over here, so what I can do is if I just come here, if I just deselect this keyframing, what I can do is I will just bring this thing over here on top. Okay, if I just want to reset this one, I can just reset it all over again. So now you won't be able to see the same change. Okay, so this is about the transition curve. Okay, so I will be telling you guys more about keyframing, how it is quite helpful. Okay, in any animation, whatever I'm doing in my video. Okay, so I have tried to explain to you guys all of these things over here regarding the transition. I hope you guys will now be able to work with your transition. Okay, and suppose if I come here and now if I just use my blend tool, give a cut over here, and now I want to add some cross dissolve over to this place. Okay, so if I just come here, okay, I can use more than one transition in my video. Just click on A from your keyboard, selected the selection tool. Okay, now select this one, and here you guys can see now I do have all the same settings over here. Okay, but here it depends on the video or the transition which I'm choosing. Here you guys can see I do have the style. Okay, so if I want it additive, subtractive, these are a few of the blending options here in your transition. And from here you guys can actually choose the start ratio. Okay, and also you guys can actually select the end ratio from here. Okay, so now if I just play here, this is how it will actually change. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood about the transition here in detail. And suppose you have applied anything over here and now you want to change all of that thing directly. Okay, so you can just directly come here and click on this icon over, and you guys will be able to see that this particular video, okay, or the transition will all be back at its default setting. So hope to see you all in the next chapter where I'll be teaching you guys about the effects what we use in DaVinci Resolve. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.